Alright, welcome to Just Morpheus Gaming. I was looking to pick up where I left off on Dwarf Fortress and just the Let's Play. At this point, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the fortress. I have food and water, or food and booze for everybody, and a lot of the jobs are basically assigned. We're getting clothing going, we have a fair amount of industry going. The one thing I was wondering about is, I guess, the expansion of more bedrooms. The next thing to do would be basically like everybody should have a bedroom at this point. There are going to be some couples that probably share rooms. The fact that there's old clothes on the floor is... Clothing maintenance is its own thing. And yeah, if he had a cupboard to store that in, he'd put it in there. So I need to make some cupboards. Furniture, cabinets, and I think I already have these on automation, so I can just basically start hammering some cabinets into the rooms. Put it at the front. That's going to bother me. It's almost wondering to the point I should just reload and fix it. That wasn't that way beforehand. I'll just deconstruct it, and I don't know how I failed that. But I can just relay those two orders. And I can throw in a couple doors. And the beds. Daisy. Supposed to be in the back. One of the things I was wondering about next is kind of what I should be pushing for. If I want to be breaching the caverns. The city center is coming along nicely. Rawr. I didn't realize that said shale. I need to update my build. So if I say construct wall, or chert. Having a double wide main hall to be able to walk through isn't... They appreciate space as opposed to single wide corridors. As long as there isn't a lot of traffic, they don't necessarily mind being cramped. But one of the other things that, going full circle, Peachwood bed, started raining, spring's arrived, become a stonecutter, we have a bard visiting, a bunch of jobs got completed. I was going to say, reviewing the footage, I didn't remember to actually double check that my work order for the weaponsmith was actually picked up by the weaponsmith. And I don't actually see my weaponsmith anymore. I'm pretty sure it was not, unfortunately. I can kick over another one just to double check. Add new task, rock, short sword. It is a good way to generate revenue. I can just basically take some of my spare boulders and turn them into crafts and stuff that I can trade, as they aren't going to really work well for defense. I guess that before I breach the caverns, I need to strengthen my ability to defend myself. So once my population reaches a certain threshold, they are going to... I'm going to be susceptible to being raided. And that's, I guess, the idea behind the Sieges update that I haven't really played much with. I don't know what I'm in for, and the main reason I haven't breached the caverns. Normally I would, I guess, breach the caverns and just to figure out where they are and what they look like. Excuse me. Because yeah, normally I would breach the caverns. I was trying to figure out if this is the area I'm claiming. I need more chert. If chert is what I'm looking to, or I don't know, in some ways it's a little pedantic, but if chert's what I'm looking for to... I don't necessarily like the looks of that. This is half chert and half sandstone. I thought at this point I was down in the chert layer, and I am, but I'm in the wrong part of the biome. I need to cut over here. The one thing about... I need to know where the aquifer ends. So I'm just going to try and go down. We're still in aquifer. And yeah, I almost need to go one past the aquifer. And I have to keep reissuing these like double dig commands. That's picked up. So the stone above me is wet, but this isn't actually producing water. So at this point I am through the aquifer. And the next one I puncture should be no water. There is water still there. That might just be because it's damp because the water's on it. What's going on here? I was questioning trying to cut over. I mean, here's in some ways the shale I want. If I mine this way, I think it's only wet because of the water that's here, and now it at least has a place to go and evaporate. And I now have a place where I can start making basically another stone quarry. Boom. And we're starting to get siltstone. The one thing I will at this point do is what I was going to say is I need to basically tell him not to bring all the stone up here. I'm going to basically rename this for sandstone. So stone, none. I want other stone, and it's down on sandstone. I am glad to see the well filling up nicely. Yeah, going back to that is definitely jankier than I normally do it, and I feel silly having punched through the way I did because normally I'd go underneath the aquifer, and I even said something about like ideally I'd cut under the aquifer before cutting over because then yeah I have to deal with the part above, and definitely not that clean of a playthrough, if you will. But either way, I guess that's half the fun, is dealing with it as it comes and dealing with your mistakes, and that is slowly coming together. I would like, yeah, more there. I was wondering, I almost need to make this pile bigger. And is that gems? Milk opal clusters. And I never actually issued the command to take down that shell, because yeah, that will actually bother me in the long run. Once they actually have like this side cleared, I'm going to start telling them to haul the shale over here. He's off to get some drink. The one, I guess, key thing about making stockpiles for stone is assigning the number of wheelbarrows. So right now, with no wheelbarrows assigned, everybody will try and haul the rocks down here. And it isn't necessarily bad when it's hauling from here to there, but if it's like 10 floors away, I can set my number of wheelbarrows. Oh, not until after I set my stockpile type. So in this case, it was not bars, blocks, it was stone. Stone, other, and it was shale. So number of wheelbarrows, 3. That probably means I need to make a couple more wheelbarrows. They can shuffle wheelbarrows between piles. I will also, at a certain point, I think, move a lot of my crafts. With having the above freeze, there's a lot of things you don't want to be in freezing. Like, even if it's frozen outside, here's not frozen. That doesn't really clear anywhere in the game. But when you're out here, it's frozen. The only way you can really see that's like if I put my booze out here, it'll freeze. So I can't have an outside bar in the winter because it just won't work. Or same with like tending my animals out here. If I milk my cows and put my milk into buckets, my buckets are going to freeze. I'll end up with frozen milk. Yet if I do it just one layer underground where it's, I guess, insulated, then it's just fine. In fact, there's some odd complexity in this game. What I was entertaining was how to best to make a stockpile for the wheelbarrows and bins, and normally I keep most of my wood stockpiles with my wood. And since I don't really have that at this point, so yeah, try to get a little bit further ahead on the bedroom situation. Why is he hauling that boulder? What I was originally in for was the wheelbarrows, and I was looking to automate the task. I'd always like a couple wheelbarrows on hand, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. Why are you grumpy? Frustrated after being able to find somebody to in charge. Sorry about that. So I don't have all my administration set. I don't actually have somebody like that can you report crimes to. If you're not, let me go into the administration and see about my nobles and administrators. I need to do the militia commander, I need to do the sheriff and the hammerer. If I set up the hammerer before, or even in a way like the sheriff, before I have a prison in place, it's can end poorly. I was trying to figure out the best way to even say that. I need to, in a way, make a prison cell. Which one of these beds was peachwood bed, peachwood bed? I was hoping to get like the high quality bed. Build, construct, floor. The higher quality you can make the accommodations for people that are in punishment, the better. And at this point in the fort, it's not even really a concern. But if they want somebody to complain to, grouchy after being caught in the rain. Just looking at how can I improve the happiness. So hoping in a way to use this room right here for the prison. All right, build furniture, bed. And in this case, I'm going to hide the planner and select. Because one of these, the fact that it has that star on it is the open bubble. This is the really nice bed that I have. So throw a really nice bed in there. What do I have for, in a way, going back to like, I'd like a really nice door. I'd like basically anything nice that I have. Table. I don't have any nice tables, that's for sure. I'm almost done with my engraving tasks. Why are you grumpy? Self-pity after being able to practice a craft. What? He's a bowyer, a siege engineer, and a carpenter. So, at a certain point, it'll cycle out after time, but the important thing is as long as there's anything grumpy here, their happiness will decrease. Normally people have clear history logs. Worried after lack of decent meals. I thought I actually made some decent meals. I'm still not quite ready to do lavish meals. Nice. So there is an egg in the nest box. Didn't I just see that? Sorry, half distracted by Kitty. I'll have to cut that out. And absolutely distracted. One thing about the chickens and stuff bring bugs in, so it was actually a tick that I saw, which isn't necessarily good because my people can be bit by a tick, or one of the reasons to put like the door up. It'll help keep the bugs because the bugs can't open the door. So the only time the bugs can get out is when my people are there. One thieving or mischievous creature. That's interesting. I have a black bear. That might not end well for my people. I was just wondering about the legitimacy of setting up an emergency barracks. I need to get my people training, if you will. Because a dwarf against a bear... What do I want to do here? This is absolutely temporary. But I need a barracks. And I need to create a squad. I have to appoint a militia commander in order to do a squad, and he'll come with his own. I have somebody that's a novice leader. So create a squad. In a way, I'm half tempted to say no uniform, or it's going to take some tweaking. Let's just say metal armor. And then it's people. I have an adequate shield user and an adequate sword dwarf. The fighter, I'm glad to see actually, yeah. I have 2 sword users and 2 fighters. Fighters are more like wrestlers, or they can train. But back to squads. I was looking to see what their equipment line out is. The squad symbol. Customize the squad name. That's where you change their position. Come on. I think I just have to click here. There we go. And now I can go into... That'll actually tell them to kill. These equipment. Assign burrow defense order. Equipment. Alright. Only one of them gets armor. I was questioning even telling them to station. The boom boom boom. It looks like they already are. So the armored people can train here, and they should basically go to immediate training, which I'm questioning the legitimacy of. Alright. You don't have a weapon though. What are you looking for a weapon? And here's where it's probably... He needs a metal weapon. Uniform. Details. Individual choice melee. He can pick any melee and he didn't choose one. Way I'm having to be like a specific weapon. Any short sword. Right, so at this point he picked up his shield. He still needs to get his boots. And yeah, I'll try to probably deal with this bear. And then call it good for... So if I tell my people to station, assign a station, they should just basically run up here. And that is not good. Why are you... Equipment. They should at least have their pick. They don't have any weapon. Back to individual choice. So, sure, confirm. I'm just going to kick him out of the squad for now. Schedule, no. Backed up here. And then you add uniform, ammo supplies, back to squads. View the position in this squad. No, I know that's where it is. Does not affect the scheduled orders. I'm feeling stupid and I'm going to have to do some trimming. How do I get you unselected? Because assign position, remove assignment. There we go. So he already just like off to kill that bear on his own? Yeah, he absolutely is. Unfortunately, at this point, the bear's going to like outrun me. In armor, even the little armor that I have, I don't have the stamina to chase down the bear. Part of that is the shield. I was almost wondering the legitimacy of getting a archer out here, or telling my guy to drop his shield. Because yeah, he is not making any progress here. Boom, boom, boom. Equip. Details of the shield. I doubt he'll just drop it on the ground, though. Not sure how this actually works. He did drop it, though. Thieving or mischievous creatures. Just tell him to attack the bear. And without the shield, I'm still not going to catch up to it. Here's almost where I think I need a archer. Well, that is the end of the boar bear. At least I would have thought so. Dwarves don't swim like that. No, don't disband the squad. Just cancel my order. And at this point, is he going to go back to training? I don't think so. Routine's off duty. He's training. Which means I actually want to get my other person over here and train with him too. I'm going to pull my mason as opposed to my miner. Even though my miner's skilled. Or partially skilled. And I need to start to actually try and get some metals and stuff. Okay, where was I at down here? I do need a pile for all the stone that isn't... So this is miscellaneous stone. This is stone, all other than just chert and sandstone. And that way I can actually start processing like my wall bricks down here without having to haul them all over because they're split into layers. And the less hauling before processing they have to do, the better. But yeah, with that being said, I have the military up. And I attracted no migrants. That actually kind of surprises me a little. I figured I'd have people clamoring over themselves to be living in my fort. I need to tell that to basically go back to show planner. Any material in this case. Because yeah, if everybody has accommodations, they're definitely going to be happier. One last one. Try to knock out a couple more cabinets. It's like basically everybody has their cabinets, which is nice. Other than this room. I'm going to cancel those constructions and move them to the back. Yeah, with that, squads, minimize my squads. Yeah, I think I am going to call it, see how that edits together. But originally got sidetracked, started raining, and it's already quit, bard visiting, damp stone, rock blocks completed, the major order of 50 I did is done. Kitty gave birth. The bees. When I was panning basically all around here during the bear attack, I didn't see it. I wonder if I have somebody that can even tend a hive. I have never once in all my dwarf fortressing done a hive. It should be pretty straightforward. And I have seen the hives before, so I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for. And there's like no territory here to scan. There it is. So yeah, I have a colony of bees. Pretty close to my fort, unfortunately. Interrupted by a black bear. Yeah. And pasturing. Yeah. So, with that, I'm going to call it. Save. I'm going to double save. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing some more Dwarf Fortress. Didn't get much accomplished this round, but at least I got the military up.